The progression and the evolution of our society and human civilization can be accredited to the study of the natural world and its phenomena known as science. The introduction of science changed the perspective of the collective to stop viewing life through the lens of religion and broaden their understanding of the world that we live in. This created the age-old conflict of religion versus science. Some believe that scientists were defying God's will and attempting to become gods themselves. But regardless of this conflict, it's safe to say that scientists created a world full of technology, allowing us to live a life full of abundant longevity and overall a better life, from back in the medieval times where people were dying from a cold and they used to drill holes in their heads to get rid of the sickness. Science and technology continued to evolve, and scientists started to step into the realms of the gods, attempting to create life through unconventional means like cloning, and on a quest for immortality. Just like everyone else in this world, scientists are hit the rude awakening that we can never defeat our unbeatable enemy called death, and we will never be able to surpass the limits of being a human. Revelation usually leads them down a path of madness, leaving them to believe that they didn't fulfill their purpose. But what would a scientist do if a godlike being walked up to their doorsteps, entered their home, and gave them the body of an actual god? A body that opens the door to possibilities to unravel the truths behind our reality. So the question will be, what would you do with this opportunity? What would a scientist do with this opportunity? How would this opportunity affect this person's goals, motives, and their objective? This is a question that can only be introduced by one character in the Naruto/Boruto franchise, and this character's name is Amado. Chapter 75, we were finally given Amado's reasoning and motives in joining forces with an alien like Jigen that wants to bring about world destruction. Amado states that he just wants to revive his daughter, how he failed countless times in creating a cyborg that can mimic his daughter's behavior, leading us to that infamous manga panel in chapter 76 with Amado face palming himself and crying into his hand, which was so funny to me because if you guys remember, his eyes are actually scientific ninja tools, so I don't think this man could cry. Regardless of how funny that panel is, the fandom was actually split. Some people believed his sob story and others, like me, didn't. Distrust around Amado's character is due to his continuous suspect behavior. Let's talk about how Amado participated in human trafficking, buying children and experimenting on them, all for the purpose of finding Jigen a vessel. He even betrayed Jigen by playing 5D chess to force Jigen to resurrect in his own dead body. This led to Naruto and Sasuke risking their lives to try to subdue Ishiki, taking out two of the strongest shinobi of their time and leaving the world practically defenseless. Or let's talk about how Amado keeps all his information to himself and only disclosing it at the most inconvenient times. Like, bro, you could have told us this a few chapters ago. But there's something even darker when it comes to Amado's character, and it's his way of manipulating situations and causing people to become dependent on him. The Leaf Village now depends on Amado. Jigen had no choice to depend on Amado. When Boruto was about to turn into Momoshiki, Naruto had to turn to who? Amado. It just seems like everyone and everything goes in his favor. And let's not forget about Kawaki's limiters, the possible off switch on everyone in his sideboard, how he placed karma on Kawaki without anyone knowing, which made Naruto probably one of the most positive people in the verse start to look at him different, like, yeah, bro's moving sus. Amado always being at the scene of the crime makes him a very important character. But let's not forget, Amado as a character represents one of the major themes that was introduced early on in the series, which was technology versus the shinobi. At the very beginning of Boruto Next Generations, Boruto's first conflict on the road of becoming a shinobi was cheating and using scientific ninja tools to push his powers to the next level. And then Momoshiki was introduced, and Naruto and Boruto both made a connection between the scientific ninja tools and how Momoshiki and the Otsutsuki clan view obtaining power. This created the second theme of the Boruto series, how to attain power, and what is true power, leading us to the third theme, and I think is a very important theme, how to ascend to godhood. And Amado is a character that falls in all three of these categories, or he plays a role in these three themes. And after reading Boruto Next Generations, I can confidently say I understand what Amado's true goal is. Amado wants to use Kawaki, being a Otsutsuki, and his karma seal to get access to the higher plane that Momoshiki talked about in chapter 75 on page 35. Sorry, but the Shibai part is true. He was an Otsutsuki who, as Amado correctly guessed, is no longer in this dimension. The same with Shinjutsu. I too have observed this plane a long time and have an intimate understanding of all Shinjutsu, so he can have access to Shinjutsu, using Shinjutsu to create his own reality, his own world where his daughter will never die. Amado is a genius. He understands that there's a possibility that if his daughter is resurrected, A, she can still be defective due to the karma process, or B, she can still die. It makes sense for Amado to use Kawaki to ascend to godhood so he can create his own reality where his daughter will be safe and sound. So what was the catalyst for Amado to change his plan from resurrecting his daughter through the karma process to obtaining the power of the gods, Shinjutsu? It all leads back to one character, and that character's name is Code, who failed to inherit Ishiki's karma seal, but instead he produced a white karma seal. What is the white karma seal? Well, it's just a karma seal. Gives the user a power up, but doesn't have the soul of the Otsutsuki clan member embedded into the data. This was Amado's eureka moment. He realized he can create his own karma seal using Shibai's DNA, so it will grant him access to Shinjutsu and all the other abilities of the Otsutsuki clan. Also, Karma Seal will be more than that. The Karma Seal will actually be a weapon protecting the user of the Karma Seal, aka Kawaki. Kawaki will be safe. Code inspiring Amado into creating his own Karma Seal is only part one of the two-part formula that Amado created to access the power of the gods. The second part is having an Otsutsuki clan member that he's able to control. We all know when a person is embedded with a karma seal, DNA is altered and changed to resemble an Otsutsuki's DNA, creating the transformation into an alien. In chapter 39, Jigen states, "It's a bad habit of mine. I got happy and ended up getting carried away. What's there to be happy about? Kawaki, naturally, what else is there? His karma is ripening at pace, at an astonishing pace. He shall awaken as a perfect Otsutsuki." I want you guys to pay attention to how sus Amado was acting during this conversation. This was Amado realizing it was time for him to initiate his plan to remove Ishiki. But why? Amado couldn't trust Ishiki. All he wanted to do was destroy life on his planet. So he needed to remove Ishiki from Kawaki's body so he can place his own karma seal on the newly awakened Otsutsuki, Kawaki. This was Amado's 5D chess move to remove Ishiki from the picture. Why do you guys think he panicked so much when Ishiki transported Kawaki over to the battlefield? Amado didn't care if Naruto and Sasuke survived. All he cared about was Ishiki dying within the 3-day limit and Kawaki being alive so he can place his own karma seal on the boy. Amado now has everything he needs to access the power of Shinjutsu, a Otsutsuki that he can control, and a karma seal that gives him the power of the Otsutsuki. Now leaves us with one last question. How would Amado access the higher plane of Shinjutsu? I think it's very simple. Look at everything we know about the Otsutsuki clan members. These things have a similarity to IT, information technology. And before you guys start booing, just hear me out for a sec. What is the divine tree? And what does it do? And what is the chakra fruit? We know the chakra fruit is just condensed energy. But all the records of the people who are absorbed by the God tree are converted into the data that is stored in the chakra fruit. The Otsutsuki clan member eats the chakra fruit so they can upgrade their DNA. Records, like databases. Alright, now let's look at the Karma Seal. What is the Karma Seal? It's just a lump of Otsutsuki clan member data. Data that they place on an individual so they can resurrect within that person. Hacking that person's DNA and changing it to theirs and corrupting the file. Let's talk about the almighty ability omnipotence. Momoshiki described omnipotence as the ultimate power only an all-knowing almighty god can wield, the senjutsu of all senjutsu, a programming language that the gods were said to have used to create worlds. This will make anything real. That is what omnipotence is. Omnipotence is nothing but a programming language used to create people's desires into reality, something that's easily hackable, but this power is only understood through an Otsutsuki. A genius like Amado, who created godlike cyborgs and all types of technology that we can't understand, will be able to understand Shinjutsu, omnipotence, how to wield this power through Kawaki. And to add on top of that, this man has been experimenting with the DNA of the original god Shibai himself. So he has a deeper, more intimate understanding of how the Otsutsuki clan members operate. Information that I know Amado is keeping to himself. Amado needed Ishiki to be eliminated so he can have free reign on Kawaki's body. He also needed Kawaki to still have the Karma Seal implanted with Shibai's DNA so he can access the power of Shinjutsu and create his own reality. Even though Momoshiki said that Amado might not know what omnipotence is, he still may have an idea. And his journey for power to become a god so he can create a reality that his daughter will forever be safe in. And this isn't the first time in the Naruto franchise we've seen characters walk down this path. We've seen Orochimaru go crazy on his journey for immortality, and Madara, who lost himself on his journey to use the infinite Tsukiyomi to put everybody to sleep so they can live good in a dream world. On top of Ikimoto saying he's inspired by the Matrix, it's quite obvious that Amado wants to create his own Matrix, his own reality. But this doesn't throw out any theories about Kawaki being his grandson and Delta is actually Kawaki's mother. That theory is still on the table. That isn't my theory. That's a fan theory that's been all over the place since 2022, I think. I don't remember specifically, but yeah. All I'm saying is Amado has an intimate understanding of the Otsutsuki clan, their Karma Seal resurrection ability, Shibai's DNA, and Ishiki's DNA. So it's not far-fetched for us to assume that Amado is on a quest to obtaining the powers of a god. There wouldn't be any reason for them to introduce godlike characters in the Boruto universe if somebody wasn't going to attempt to reach that level. Boruto doesn't care about becoming a god. Kawaki doesn't care about becoming a god. The only person that really cares is Code, and it's Code. Like, who cares? And we have the God Tree clones, and they don't even know what they're doing. They're just having the time of their life out there. So that's my theory. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I'm out.